WQAM is sponsored by Doral Kia. In Miami, at a Domino's game, you'll always find your abuelito. And whenever you want a low price, you save with your Pricito. Save now with your Pricito at Doral Kia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to a very, very special edition of Miami Heat basketball right here on your home for the Heat, FM 104.3 WQAM. Solana here alongside Brendan Tobin. We are live from the 2026 NBA Draft Party inside the Kaseya Center, where the Miami Heat are scheduled to select 13th overall, but things are a little bit different as of 11:30 p.m. last night, Tobin.
It's a very, very awesome night here. You could just feel from the people around this building. They all got a little bit of a pep in their step, a glide in their stride, because they know that in the coming weeks they can officially introduce their new superstar, Giannis Antetokounmpo. But it is a little bit interesting that we're doing this here tonight on Draft Night, Solana, because you and I have done, I think, the last 3 years of doing draft shows. And, you know, that's been honestly one of the bigger nights of the Heat season, because they've done a very good job drafting. And we've seen the guys like Kalel Ware and Kasparas Jakachonis and Jaime Jaquez Jr. come through those doors and have some nice flashes or nice seasons. And it is very strange that we're sitting here on a night where they're going to be picking for somebody else. Those guys are all headed to Milwaukee for now. And this night that had been such a big night for the Heat the last few years is just kind of a placeholder right now until some I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and they can officially introduce Greek Freak down here.
Yeah, I wanted to get into the last 3 years we've done this together, because the reality is once this trade is finalized, none of those 3 players that the Miami Heat selected in their previous 3 drafts with the first overall pick, you mentioned all 3 of them, will be suiting up for this team next season. They'll likely be in Milwaukee, or they'll be wherever they end up once all this ends up getting finalized. But Tobin, it is just kind of opening up the layers here, peeling back the curtain. A little weird that we're here. Yeah. I wasn't sure if this, like, the team can't say anything about Giannis Antetokounmpo. The members of the Miami Heat who will be hosting tonight's event can't say anything about Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're planning on having whether an assistant coach or a current player on as well as a part of our guests tonight, and they can't comment on it at all either. So it is a little bit of the elephant in the room dynamic here, where everybody that is a fan of this organization could not be happier about the news from yesterday. It's what you've been waiting for going back since Jimmy Butler first was traded to this team, that next big superstar, that next big whale, this one arguably as big as any, not named LeBron James. And on the very next night that it happens, the entire fan base, or a lot of the fan base, is going to come together to watch a player be selected that won't end up taking the floor for the Miami Heat, and nobody can be direct about what it is that transpired yesterday in one of the biggest moments in the franchise's history, considering when it happened, Pat Riley being able to do this at this stage in his career. I mean, we're going to get into all of it, but I just want to be open with the audience here. Like, it is a little weird. It's a weird dynamic tonight.
Look, here's what you want to come down here for. You come down here for the vibes, all right?
Yep.
You know, forget about if there's not anything on the Jumbotron. You come here, you celebrate with your fellow Heat fans. You grab your Grease flag. You come here and you drape yourself. Maybe you have a Euro on the way to get yourself in the mood. Mm-hmm. They got some great setups here for the family and friends. There's an awesome just talked to Crazy Andy beforehand, which was an honor in its own right, because he had said that he'd seen my show. I'm like, you seen my show? You're Crazy Andy. This is like I'm meeting a legend. And they have great deals for you, like a ton of Heat merch over there. So if you guys want to come on by and pick up some swag for the season, they got $10 shirts, $5 like trinkets and things like that, $15 I think mystery boxes. So that's really cool. They got some Papa shot on here. I don't know what the protocol is to who gets on the court, so I'm not going to act like I know the rules there. But it's just a night of festivities because that's what tonight should be about. Your favorite franchise. Everybody here has been thirsting since the 2023 finals. We all remember the summer of Damian Lillard thinking that they were going to add him as a final piece. It was a gut punch when they weren't able to do it. They've gone through a ton of turmoil since, whether it be trading for Terry Rozier or the turmoil of Jimmy Butler leaving and trying to pick up the pieces and then fighting their asses off through the play-in, only to get waxed back-to-back years. Then you have last year where it feels like some things are getting figured out, and it has a very unceremonious ending. And you know, when you heard from Pat Riley that this couldn't be a year where they could sit here and not go. The Giannis stuff was lingering over this franchise back in the summer up to the trade deadline, but they finally got him. Pat Riley sharpened his harpoon. He got it done. They've traded away 3 first-round picks, including tonight at 13. They traded away 4 of their first-round players that they've had going back to Tyler Hero, but they have gotten what this organization always prides itself on, which is being a destination, bringing in superstars, and then building that into a champion.
And there's going to be a lot of discussion about what's next because this roster does need to be filled out. You mentioned the hole that was sent to Milwaukee in this trade that was reported yesterday by Shams Charania of ESPN. But for a while there, Tobin, it seemed like things were going to go in a different direction. It seemed like things were going to go in Boston. I don't know if you'll even get upset that I revealed this information, but when we were discussing our plans for tonight's draft show early yesterday, I had texted you, basically, I want a resolution by tomorrow. Hopefully by the time we're on the air at 7 o'clock tomorrow, I want a resolution. And, your guts were a little flimsy yesterday, Tobin. You said it's done. It's not happening. Forget about it. He's not coming here. What was your reaction when you saw? I mean, I watched you go live on YouTube yesterday, so I know what your reaction was once the camera was on, Tobin. But when you see that push notification, what was your reaction?
It was
knowing that Giannis is coming to Miami.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was very pessimistic. I was pessimistic this entire summer. There were times where I was more confident, but then like all this Boston stuff comes up and like, yeah, it just feels like their propaganda machine gets to bully things on the worldwide leader that the Miami media and Miami fan base has to deal with and just eat. And I just was very confused the entire time about it. Truthfully, I was like, why would they want Jaylen Brown? He doesn't want to stay there. Are they giving up other stuff? Because nobody ever reported that. Like, maybe the nation didn't know the players that he were giving up, but I'm like, these are good players. And then by the by, if anybody who's so skeptical of a duo of Bam and Giannis, wouldn't you want those draft picks as opposed to everybody thinks Tatum and Giannis? Now, they're all idiots. I'm just saying theoretically if you were running those front offices. But the thing that really put me down was Chris Haynes and his strange report in the middle of the night where he's like, yeah, Boston's the leader. I was like, well, that kind of feels like he's a very credible reporter. That kind of feels like the death blow. I'm just waiting for Shams to drop it. So I'm sitting there, I'm refreshing Twitter. I got Love Island on in the background. We're having a great night. And I don't, God knows who on notifications, everybody, but of course you have Shams. And like, we're all getting mad at Shams because he's given us like the most ridiculous updates. Like, what we want, Shams. And then he does this thing where like he gives 3 tweets for one piece of news. And so yesterday, my phone was finally like, it was like on 7%. I'm like, I got to charge this thing. So I had to move it over to the nightstand. And so like I see, bloop, Ayo Dosunmu gets signed after they dumped Julius Randle. And then I hear bloop, bloop. I'm like, more Dosunmu tweets? Like, what am I? And so I just happened to go look. And I was like, oh! I was, dude, I looked at it. And then I went right to my computer. And I saw, like, the graphic. And it was crazy. Like, I was like, man, they finally did it. And then I looked at the list of guys. The first name I saw was Yakachonis. That was the first thing that stood out because I was like, I know that was the last guy that they wanted to hold on to. But so I knew that they had given up a ton. But I just thought it was needed, Solana. And I've been saying this throughout the summer, throughout this entire thing. I haven't been my same whaley self. Mm-hmm. I've been more pessimistic, tame. I just didn't want to get hurt again. But, I've always just felt like the Heat never wanted to maybe reach a little bit over the pylon to get the score, and they did. And maybe it hurt a little bit because I think that this organization has done a fantastic job scouting their first round picks, whereas a place like Milwaukee has not, outside of Giannis. And now they're in a position where, all right, they got their big piece. I feel great for Bam Adebayo. He certainly needs a running mate who he can count on. These guys have had a great respect for each other. At one point, we're big-time rivals. That's kind of where Bam made his bones in the league. So it's awesome, man. I mean, I know there's a lot of questions out there. People are already foaming at the mouth to think, what do they got to do? What do they got to be? This is going to be, yes, because now the expectations are championship.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like, there's no doubt. You make a trade like that, the expectation is to go there and win the East right away. There's no – Giannis thinks that. The Heat think that. Everybody in the war room, but I don't know what they're doing up there today. Probably just having pizza and chilling. But they're all thinking the same thing. And it was a huge night, dude. It was a huge night. I'm very happy for Pat Riley. I'm very happy for the organization to get this moment again and to feel like it's got a jolt, because this has been a very, very heavy 4 years for the organization, or 3+ years since they got beaten 5 to Denver. Like, they've really been trying to find themselves again, and I felt like yesterday was the first time in a while they have.
Yeah, it felt like yesterday was the first time. Not only was the Shams bomb finally for the Miami Heat in the way that you want it, right? Like the true Shams bomb, but it finally felt like something worked out in their favor. And Tobin, I had set a time limit for myself yesterday. I said, he's excited for the 13th overall pick, man. I mean, who isn't?
Who doesn't want to see LeBaron Filan put on a Heat hat for 3 seconds?
I had set a 1 a.m. timeline for myself because I felt, I said this on the show yesterday in the 5 o'clock hour. I said, I feel like this is going to happen by midnight. They don't want to let it hang until the morning. You want to have your ducks in a row for the draft if you're the Bucks, because whether you're picking 10 and 13 or 10 and 27, whatever it was going to be, you just wanted to have a full 24 hours to kind of figure it out. And I set a 1 a.m. timeline for myself. And I start getting text messages, boom, 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 because I'm watching The Sopranos, because why not, right? Like, calm my nerves a little bit.
What season?
That's my show, season 5, which is just phenomenal. Such a good season.
A good bounce back from 4.
And I'm watching, and I start, my phone starts going off, and my heart sinks. And I said, oh, no, here it comes. Because as much as I wanted to be optimistic, as much as I wanted to feel like, hey, the Heat do have the best offer. I genuinely did believe that. You have that in the back of your mind, what played out with Damian Lillard, where until you see it, you just can't believe it. It ends up coming to fruition yesterday, and man, was I jacked the F up, man. I was jacked the F up.
I found all of the summer very annoying, especially the last 2 weeks with the discussions about it, because I really yes, maybe as a fan and a media member, you see these guys, you feel good about the prospects that they are. But I just thought it was crazy that Milwaukee was going to sit here in a situation where they're like, yeah, the solution to trading Giannis is to bring in a disgruntled guy who makes $300 million. I'm like, am I missing something? The Heat's pick was 14 spots higher than the Celtics. The entire thing just kind of feels deranged that Boston was even in the game as long as it was. And maybe it was all a thing just to get them to throw in an extra piece. And if they did, credit to them. But I just found all of it, just in retrospect, like, why was this even as close as it was?
What I wanted to get to in the next segment, Tobin, was whether or not you felt like the Miami Heat perhaps got pushed a little bit to give up maybe a little bit more in this trade than they would have liked. Whether they did or not doesn't necessarily matter, because what's done is done. But with that being said, you just wonder if that was, the hand that was being played by some of these other teams, Boston included. I do want to kind of pick your brain on what that war room looks like. We are going to get some guests to walk by the broadcast booth. We are broadcasting live from the 2026 NBA draft party that the Miami Heat is hosting. The fans are starting to come through into the arena right now. We're sitting inside the lower bowl. We're literally courtside for this event. It's an awesome event. So if you're in downtown Miami, if you're passing by on Biscayne Boulevard, feel free to come in. And Tobin and I will keep you company until 9 p.m. That should give us enough time to see who the Heat select with the 13th overall selection. But obviously, that player, let's just say, don't get too familiar with who the Miami Heat select because he will likely be wearing a different jersey come game 1. It's Tobin, it's Solana, and it's the home of the Miami Heat. We'll take a break right here on WQAM.
Let's go! Turn me up. We can now prove that most of us have faces for radio.
So, that's what they look like? Wow.
All of WQAM shows are live on YouTube. Just go to WQAM.com on YouTube, and there we are.
You can't beat it.
Joe Rose in Hollywood, Tobin, Leroy, J. Fig and Brittany, Hot, Crowder and Solana with Jimmy, and Dan Day and Vlad. Make sure you take a look. Fit tips appreciated. WQAM on YouTube. We're live.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times, some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
If you're still using a sports book to bet on the soccer tournament, you're getting robbed. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Polymarket, your go-to prediction market for soccer's biggest stage. Available in all 50 states. Download the Polymarket app. Use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
Time for more of the NBA Draft Show from the Kaseya Center with Solana and Tobin on FM 104.3 WQAM and always streaming on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Sponsored by Doral Kia. In Miami, at a Domino's game, you'll always find your Abuelito. And whenever you want a low price, you save with your Pricito. Save now with your Pricito at Doral Kia.
Welcome back to the 2026 NBA Draft Show. The Miami Heat will select 13th overall, but we're all hyped up about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the trade that puts Miami back to where all Heat fans want it to be, and that is contending. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up. Brendan Tobin, Alejandro Solana here. We'll take you up until 9. Thanks to Brittany, who's back in the WQAM studios, just about 15, 20 minutes north from the Kaseya Center, holding it down behind the board. And, of course, as always, thank you to our engineer, Oscar Gonzalez, who is the best in the business. Tobin, did the Miami Heat ultimately have the best offer? Do you think Boston drove up that price for Giannis Antetokounmpo? It was something that Crowder, Gelb, and I discussed a little bit today. And you know, it makes sense that Boston would try to get in on the sweepstakes because you mentioned it, disgruntled superstar or disgruntled star, whatever you want to call Jaylen Brown. Why not try to go get somebody that kind of keeps you at that level? But were they driving up the price on the Heat, and did the Heat kind of get caught up in that game and perhaps have to give up a little bit more than they would have liked for Giannis, or what's done is done, and that was always going to be the offer?
I think that probably there was they had to get it over the goal line. I think that, the pieces, the where Hero was obvious because of the salary and the ties to Wisconsin. That was going to be the obvious one. Kalel, obvious he was going to be in the deal. I think out of all those guys, we were all excited by the eye-popping talent from the Kryptonian. Definitely going to miss him in a Heat jersey.
Yeah.
Jaime, for sure, I felt like you just he was almost sixth man of the year. If you're the Bucks, why wouldn't you want him? And I almost feel like for the Heat standpoint, they were like, well, he's probably going to want a pretty penny coming up too. I don't know how much the Heat were going to be in a position, because if they didn't get Giannis, the whole idea was they were going to keep flexibility. So I don't know how much Jaime would have fit into those plans, especially if they would have asked him to basically wait till next summer. So then I think it really came down to, could they have gotten out of this without giving up both Pella and Kaz?
Right.
Ultimately, you saw what it ended up being. It ended up being Jonas. And I think part of that is his age. How ready was he going to be? Now, I'll tell you, I was at Heat Camp a week ago. Kid's confident. Definitely has put up some muscle. We talked to UD last week, and he was saying he's been in the weight room. I think that's the one that probably stung a little bit, because I think the Heat were hoping they could have stashed him away. And did Boston play a part of that? Probably. But I think that you couldn't afford to lose to Boston. You just couldn't. I think that they benefited the last time around, and I just thought that you couldn't be in a position, as much as Kaz Jonas might turn into the next Goran Dragic. I think even Goran Dragic would be like, hey, I have to trade for Giannis at the peak of his powers. I think I would make that deal. And Goran Dragic took a while to be Goran Dragic. It took multiple teams. He's 20. He just turned 20 years old. Definitely, I think what the Heat probably would miss is, I think they're all a little surprised by his shooting taking off the way that it did early on. So that one stings, being out the door. But, yeah, probably Boston had something to do with it. But, that's the game. And I think you ultimately, even if there was no Boston and they said, hey, this is what the deal is, would the Heat have done it? Yeah, I think they probably would have.
And, Ira was on with us, Ira Winterman of the Sun Sentinel. He said something that resonated with me a little bit, where he said, this is what the NBA is, right? Like, if you want to get back in that conversation, you have to take that massive risk. And make no mistake about it, this is a huge risk that the Miami Heat made today. I think the reward, is there. You're getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're getting a player that's going to put you in position to go compete again. And when healthy, is top 5 player on the planet. So while it's not a massive risk versus reward, it's still a massive risk in the sense that down the line, you're going to feel it. You're probably going to feel it. But the reality is, Tobin, the way I look at it, you have this window right now where you have Bam Adebayo. He's the perfect number 2 player, and you want to pair him with a legit top talent. And this was really the only option for Miami to do that. The window opened up. You only get X amount of chances, right? Finite amount of chances to add this caliber of player. And when you consider the names that have come through here in terms of acquisitions, Tim Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, we'll throw Goran Dragic in there because we all love Gogi. And he was doing a little bit of recruiting too. You could argue that, again, outside of LeBron, like Giannis is 2 behind LeBron of players that the Miami Heat have acquired in terms of just sheer overall talent. That's saying something. And when you have that opportunity, you can't risk not landing that player because of players that, yes, we all loved and we genuinely wanted to see flourish here, but ultimately, just don't put you in the area that you need to be at to contend and get back to being a team that's a threat in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, listen, nobody's more guilty of whale watching than me and thinking about that, but it was one of those things that I always felt like I had another guy to move on to whenever something didn't happen. And I genuinely was sitting here, if they didn't get Giannis, and being like, well, I guess there's only 2 things you could hope happen, that Joker and things would have gone awry and he doesn't sign his extension, which nobody could read that guy. You have no idea. Or Anthony Edwards in a couple of years once that all flames out in Minnesota, which, we'll have a couple more years, but you're just going to be sitting here waiting. And then Bam Adebayo just gets older, and you're just like, what are we doing for this guy in his career? They think the world of him. He's going to become the all-time franchise rebound leader. He has the 83 points last year. He has a 2010 season, but also not, it was an inefficient team. Like, it was a team where he kind of just got to willy-nilly do what he wanted, especially once the shooting guards got hurt. So it was unbelievably critical that Miami got this done. I get all the, for the people who are, worried about the depth, and we're hearing reports today that, hey, they probably won't be able to bring Norman Powell back. I don't blame Norman Powell. This is probably the best opportunity Norman Powell's gotten to get paid. He's coming off an all-star season. You just saw Trae Young got $200 million for just sitting on his ass last season.
Crazy, man.
It's crazy. So, that there is going to be some give after you take a move like this, but could you really think about going into another year where the Miami Heat's youth was going to be the focal point? Would they really invest in that? Would the coach, as great as he is, definitely wants, I think, a more veteran-laden team. That's what he's leaned into. He's kind of cut from that cloth with a couple of exceptions, and we've already known. Like, look, Kel'el Ware still had a lot to prove to Eric Spoelstra. Kasper Giacochonis seemed like he had the respect of the coach, but is he really going to make him the starting point guard at 20 years old? We mentioned the Jaime contract stuff, and then whatever the pick was going to be at 13, and then what is that for around Bam Adebayo? Then having to make a decision with Norman Powell and Tyler Herro. So it would have just been a very tough crossroad for this organization to be at.
This solves everything, right? Because now you know what you've got. You've got your top player, you've got your superstar, you've got your whale, and you've got your duo that you feel like can rival any duo in the NBA right now in Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo. And look, you mentioned some of the Norman Powell stuff. Like, we have to figure out who else is going to be on this team. We have to figure out exactly how it all gets sorted, and there's going to be plenty of time for that. What I will say, Tobin, is that the front office had a plan for all this. So I'm sure there's already targets that they're looking at for the mid-level exception. There's already targets that they're looking at that would be willing to come to Miami and join a contending team and perhaps take a little bit less money than they can get elsewhere. That's something we saw with the Big Three multiple times. But with all that being said, Pat Riley, Tobin, for years, the narrative around him was that he didn't like young players. He didn't like draft picks. He didn't like rookies. And I think some of that was probably a little bit overblown. But
no, I mean, he did say himself, it on the, he did say it on the record.
He himself has said it on the record. Like, I like to win, and but with that, he and Dwayne have joked about it, that there are certain rookies that you could just tell are a little bit different. The Heat seem to kind of stray away from that philosophy over the past couple of years. We talked about Kel'el Ware, we talked about Jaime Jaquez Jr., but Tyler Herro, Bam Adebayo. When Precious Achiuwa started the season, how many times did we all talk about, wow, the Heat's last, 7 first-round picks that they selected were all on the roster, 6 first-round picks were all on the roster? This, to me, seemed and really felt like Pat Riley saying, I'm going back to my roots. I'm going back to what has worked for me in the past, and that's saying, bleep the young kids, bleep the future. This is our window now. I've got the whale in my sights. I'm going to lock and load the harpoon, and I'm going to go get it. And that's exactly what he did, and it's paid off for him in the past. This could be his last opportunity in terms of this next couple of years as the window. And I think he saw it, he went for it, and I totally understand why. It's worked for him.
Yeah, and I think he said it at his exit interviews this year, too. He said that, they wanted to build this thing around Bam. Bam's going to be 29 next month. And, you're got a few years in on that prime of these guys are going to be in their early 30s. He's going to be in his late 20s for a year. But, this has to be juiced up right now. And he needs a guy who's ready to go. And certainly, I think for Bam, he's had to, I'm sure, had some frustration of hey, I've had, he's one of the more beloved, respected players in the league amongst a lot of these guys. I saw a clip today circulating of I don't know who did the interview, so I apologize, but it was an international interview. And even Giannis, as I guess of last, I think it was September 25, they said it was from, was saying, like, if I had a starting center to have on my team, it would be Bam. The agent ties have always been there. That's been a big story. We've been talking about literally for 6 years. That it seemed like the Heat would always have an intel on this. But look, to the Bucks' credit, they had a huge superstar. They really did everything they could to please him. They just kind of ran out of resources. It happens. But the Heat were at a point where they have their guy who seems like he's got a few years of the peak of his powers. He's in the prime of his career. You got to do right by him too, especially with how many games he plays, how durable he is. He stands for all the right things. And also, what guy's not going to want to play with him? He's as unselfish as it gets. He's not going to ask you to bend to him. Bam's going to do everything to feed into Giannis to make him comfortable, which is why I think it makes him attractive for a lot of high-profile players.
Man, it still seems surreal. Giannis Antetokounmpo will be a member of the Miami Heat. We'll take a break here on the other side. Just want to get your take on if the Heat were selecting 13, who it would be, and who you think the Bucks are going to end up taking. This is pretty much like playing darts blind, Tobin. I mean, I don't know about you, but once I saw that last night, my prep was a little bit different for our draft show today.
It was a risk.
It ended up working out for me, though, because I really felt like this was going to end up happening. I do want to reiterate one more time, though, because I saw somebody on our YouTube chat. We're streaming live on YouTube and Twitch, by the way. You can search us up, Miami 560 WQAM, or what is it now? Miami 104.3 WQAM on YouTube and Twitch.
YouTube is 104.3 WQAM, Miami 104.3 WQAM on Twitch.
Thank you, sir. And somebody said, so are we just picking for the Bucks tonight? And then somebody else said, I thought we lost the 13th pick. What's happening tonight is the Miami Heat are going to step to the podium. Adam Silver is going to come out with the 13th overall selection. The Miami Heat select, and that player, whoever ends up being selected, is going to come out. He's going to be handed a Heat hat. He's going to put on a Heat hat. He's going to take pictures like if he's going to play for the Miami Heat, despite everybody knowing that he won't suit up for the Heat, despite everybody knowing he'll be going to Milwaukee, despite everybody knowing that it's the Bucks that actually told the Miami Heat who to draft for them, and despite the fact that the NBA's own broadcast partner, ESPN, that'll be broadcasting this tonight, will be talking about this player playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. The whole thing is stupid. The whole thing is silly.
It's one of the stupidest things in sports.
But it's maintained by the NBA year after year after year. There's always, at least one example of it. It seems like every single season, and this year it is what it is. But that's why the Miami Heat are still hosting their draft party tonight, because technically you're selecting 13th overall today.
We drafted Giannis. That's the deal. We drafted Giannis. You guys, you're right to say, chatter, that it's ridiculous. It is one of the more ridiculous things in sports. No other league does this. You get your hat, and I don't understand why they do this. And I don't even know, is there a good explanation to why they do it? I don't know. I would love, listen, if I had 5 minutes with Adam Silver, it certainly wouldn't be the first topic that I would bring up with him, but it would be third. And then I would be like, why can't that be fixed? It makes zero sense.
I think I know what number one would be.
You know what number one would be, dude.
I think I know what number one would be.
Yeah, it would also involve picks.
It definitely would involve a pick that could be conveyed tonight, by the way, as well. There could have been another pick being conveyed tonight. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll talk a little bit more about Giannis Antetokounmpo and who the Bucks might want the Miami Heat to select tonight. We are expecting to have on a couple guests throughout the broadcast, 2 from the Miami Heat, 1 current assistant coach, and 1 current player as well. It's Brendan Tobin. It's Alejandro Solana. We're live from the Kaseya Center. It's the 2026 Miami Heat Draft Watch Party, and we're live. We'll be back after this break. All right, welcome back inside the Kaseya Center. It's the Miami Heat 2026 draft party. They'll be selecting 13th overall, but Giannis, enough said. That was pretty cool. Some Uruguayans from Uruguay just happened to be in Miami, and they just stopped by our setup here. If you're coming out to the Kaseya Center, by the way, this genuinely happens to be a great event every single day, every single year that they do it. They've been doing it here inside the arena now, Tobin. I think it's the second straight year. They did it last year for sure. 1 year was in Dolphin Mall, I think, and then
we did Dolphin Mall. We've done the arena the last couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years, but it's always great. They've got Papa Shot. You're going to be able to take some shots on the actual Heat court. The Miami Heat dancers are here. You could take a photo. But what was cool, the Uruguayan just passed by me, flew from Uruguay, just happened to see that, there's a draft watch party. The guy was telling me that their son, younger son, was a Heat fan. So it just worked out for them. But if you look around, Tobin, you'll see some of the Scotland jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
And I was told by a source, I won't reveal my source, that, there's Keyshawn Johnson walking around with the trophy, Tobin.
Does he
with
have
the
it, really?
slam dunk contest trophy. Look at that.
Wow, he brought the hardware?
Look at that. He brought the hardware,
wow.
man. He brought the hardware.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is sick. Look at this.
He's just walking around.
Look at that. He just walks around with that. That is insane.
On camera. He's brought the hardware out.
Look at that.
You brought the hardware.
Look at that.
That's what's up, man.
Unbelievable.
Keyshawn's going to join us a little bit later. I don't think we have you now. You want to jump on now? You can jump on now.
Do it now.
Let's do it right now.
Why not? We can figure it out.
Let's go right now.
Get a headset.
We'll do it live.
Get a headset for Kashad and get a headset for his trophy.
Here you go.
Unbelievable. That thing is sick.
Let me make sure.
Unbelievable.
Let me turn this on for you. You got the red light there?
Yep.
And you hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Flip those headsets around, buddy.
There
It'll be
you
good.
go.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'll put that boom up.
There we
Boom.
go.
Now we're good to go.
I mean, we're live right now, man. We'll do it live.
Stay live.
So Keyshawn Johnson just sat down with us, the slam dunk contest champion. And I mean, let me get my laptop out of the way. That thing is beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out Dr. J. Dr. J got the stethoscope up top. Yeah, details there.
Where do you keep this when you're not just walking around with it?
So I keep it at home. I took it back to my mom's house as well, but I keep it with me at home, safe and sound. It's gonna make its way around the world though.
Did it? Did that whole experience exceed your expectations? I remember asking you at Media Day about doing the slam dunk contest, and you were like, "I don't know, because I don't know if they give you the credit you deserve." But you come away winning it. Like, did it exceed your expectations once it finally it was all because like that? It was so cool to see on that stage get to do your thing. Like we've seen some of the crazy things that you're able to do in a game, but to pull it off, man, what was that night like?
Yeah, it was way crazier than what I even imagined. It's something I dreamed of. I dreamed of being in the dunk contest. I love watching dunk contests because I feel like that's just what I do. Like, being athletic, and I looked up to all the dunkers, just trying to mimic everything that they do year after year. Once I was able to start dunking even on the mini hoops and stuff like that. But yeah, you called it first during the media day when you asked me. I was unsure. I didn't like the way God works in my life, the way God just blessed me. It was kind of like, okay, it was unexpected. And God's blessings in my life has been abundant. So I can't really pinpoint the feeling I had. Like, you called it out early, and it was like I didn't have my mind wrapped around it even being possible, but my name ended up getting called for the opportunity, and that was just a shock right there. So, God has done things that is beyond human understanding. For sure. I'm for sure gonna put my best foot forward. If I get the opportunity, I'm gonna put my best foot forward and go out there, try to defend myself, keep making it for myself. And it's in Phoenix, so just try to put on a show through in and throughout.
The only thing better than one of these would be two of them.
That's it. It's only one per year. And if I could get two in 2 years, that'd be impressive. But overall, just thank God for being somebody that's been a participant of it, and if I get another chance, I'm grateful for that. If not, I'll be there supporting anybody that's there.
Kashad, what's your summer been like, man? What have you been in the lab? I've seen on Instagram. It looks like you're put in a lot of work. So what are the things you wanted to focus on going into this year?
Yeah, so the work is undefeated. The work never stops. Time wait on nobody. The opportunity is going to present itself, and I just got to be ready for the opportunity. So I just been working on everything, trying to get better in everything, trying to learn the game, I watch the playoffs throughout the playoffs, and just seeing where I can impact the game. That'd be knocking down open shots, showing glimpse whenever it's time to. So just gotta stay prepared, keep the sword sharp.
Go ahead.
Oh, what do you think of the NBA Finals? It felt like there was a lot of momentum with Victor Wembanyama, but the Knicks kind of went on this magical run down here in Miami. We don't have too much love for the New York Knicks, so I just wonder how you watched the finals and kind of absorbed the entire experience.
Man, so the finals this year, I felt like it was what the NBA needed. Honestly, it was what the NBA needed. The finals this year. Of course, we would like to be in there ourselves, but just the New York Knicks, they put up a great fight. Wemby is a tall task. Literally, he's a tall task to just hold. And they did a great job. They did a great job of just keeping the body in front of him, everything. And Wemby's a talent, a freak of nature. So we're gonna see how he bounced back too. And yeah, hopefully we could go up there and be a contender and knock the Knicks down.
What do you remember about draft night? Because I remember the front office here saying they were surprised you didn't get drafted. They were excited to get you. Was it a hard day for you? And did it turn around once you did end up on Miami? What do you remember about that whole process?
Yeah, no, it wasn't hard at all for me. The day was actually great. It was around my birthday. Today is my birthday as well.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. So it was around my birthday time. So it was a whole celebration with my family at home. I thought I was going to get drafted. I was hoping to get drafted, praying for it and everything. But it's all with God's timing. During the draft, second round, it was towards the end where I wasn't getting my name called, and me and my agent was on the phone talking to the Heat, and then the Heat were ready. They asked that I want to be Heat, and I already been here before going to the draft, so I already seen how the organization worked a little bit and stuff like that. And we know the story of the Heat giving two-way guys and undrafted guys a chance. So it's just everything worked out. I have my chance here with the Heat now, and I've been able to make a name for myself, been able to stay so far. And once I was able to be with the family and make that call, it was an overall blessing. Make that call during the draft, so I didn't miss out on anything.
What do you do to spoil yourself on the birthday? You got a dessert you like? You're gonna sit back? You're gonna watch some Love Island? What are you gonna do?
Love Island it's been having everybody in the chokehold.
That's number one Love Island fan right there.
I watch Love Island. I'm up to date with everything. So I'm a fan of the show and everything. But I'm just gonna hang out with friends. This Miami, hang out with friends and enjoy the tropics of Miami.
Anybody reach out to you, wish you a happy birthday from the team? Anybody that kind of surprised you or like, man, how do I have their number? That's crazy.
Everybody reached out. Everybody showed love. And thank you for all the birthday wishes out there. A big one is UD, though. UD reached out, and it's always good to hear from UD, OG.
Before we let you go here, again, Keyshawn Johnson with us. I want to take you back to when you win the slam dunk contest because there's like memes circulating still from that day, you dancing. Do you ever go back and kind of rewatch the entire experience and just feel it again? And is there like one specific meme or GIF that stands out to you that you're constantly seeing anytime you open up, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is?
Yeah. It's the one that's going around with Giannis that just came out.
That's a good one.
Crazy. The way the world works.
That one's good though. That one's good.
So if I had anything to do with that, thank you. But
he seemed to enjoy your show.
That's it. I would assume he had a big personality and he was able to vibe. So we all vibe, and now we gonna be in the locker room together. So yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, Keyshawn Johnson, don't let anybody touch that thing, man. That thing is awesome, man. Happy birthday, and we appreciate you coming by, and looking forward to a fun season next year, and certainly you on the court and having another awesome opportunity to get out there, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Awesome. Keyshawn Johnson. We'll take a break live from the Heat Draft Party 2026, Tobin and Solana on WQAM. All right, welcome back to WQAM. Solana and Tobin here with you. We'll take you up for about another hour or so. We're live inside the Kaseya Center, and we have another special guest. That was fun with Kashad Johnson walking around with the trophy from the slam dunk contest. It's the Heat draft party. They'll be selecting 13th overall. We'll get you all the updates as it happens with the NBA draft starting any minute now. But sitting down with us here, courtside, is Heat assistant coach Wayne Ellington, who's going to have a busy summer ahead of him, former Miami Heat player as well. Coach, appreciate you sitting down.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys.
You immediately season ends knowing that you're going to be coaching the Summer League team.
Yeah.
When does that preparation start for you? Just understanding, it's something new for you to be the head coach there, and you're going to have your hands full for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, well, I may have had the inside scoop for a while. So, I've had some time to prepare and get ready for it. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great experience for myself, for the, some of the other young coaches on the staff, and obviously for the players. It's going to be an enjoyable experience, and we look forward to getting out there and competing.
You had some awesome years here, Coach. I'm curious about what's that process like where you say, I want to coach. How do you get into the mold of, like, I want to go coach with the Heat? And then because it is an interesting thing where, like, a lot of the guys on the staff, nearly all of you have played here.
Yeah.
And so, like, do you think back to, like, how they coached you? Do you have your own style? Like, what was that whole process like?
Well, I speak for myself. I had a great relationship with Coach Spoelstra while I was playing here. I maintained that relationship with them even when I left and played for different organizations. And he was one of my favorite coaches while I played in the NBA. I played for 13 years. He was somebody I could really relate to. I really enjoyed his style, the way he pushed confidence into his players, the way he was willing to go beyond measures to get us to learn how to win and put us in point us in a winning direction. I had some very memorable moments here. And it's something that was really dear to me. So when I had a chance to come back and join the organization on the coaching side of things, it was a really easy decision.
I remember when you played here, like you always thought about your attempts because you're such a talented shooter, like how they shot up. And I'm curious, like, what is that like as a guy who gets to a place and they're like, no, I want you to do more? Like, he'll always say that about Duncan Robinson or whomever, like, hey, I want him to shoot 23s a game.
Yeah.
Just because that's what you're great at. He believes in you so much. Was that a hard thing to wrap around your mind, or did you love that immediately when you had that?
I loved it immediately. I never understand when guys get discouraged when a coach tells you to shoot more, right? Like, what? I mean, he's showing you the most utmost confidence that you could get from your head coach, right? And that's what I'm talking about when I said he instills so much confidence in his players. Like, he really unlocked me, I like to say, because before I got here, I played for quite a few organizations, and then when I got here, I was received with open arms. He really allowed me to play to my strengths, and the result, I had some of the best years of my NBA career here. So there was no coincidence there.
When did you know? Because you mentioned Spo was one of your favorite NBA head coaches. When did you know, or how long did it take for you to realize, oh, he's different? He's somebody that, whether you knew at the time that you'd like to work with or work under, or just being in practice and realizing, like, man, this dude he's a different level. Was there like one specific moment, or did it just happen over the course of time?
I think it just happened over the time. I'll tell you one moment that really caught my attention. I was like, oh, okay, this is different. It might not even be about Coach Spo, but just the Heat organization. My first training camp here, we had the Navy SEALs at training camp, and we woke up at about 6 o'clock in the morning to do this crazy workout on the beach. They had us like rolling into the water and doing all this crazy stuff. That's when I was like, oh, this is like a different level of intensity and attention to detail. So,
I mean, did you like it away, or you're like, this is insane? I don't know about this.
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
Because, I had been to plenty of different training camps before that, and it, like there was nothing similar to that. It was all basketball. But this was like a specific drill or exercise that allowed us not only to, focus on, training our bodies, but it's also about teamwork and communication and building off the floor as well, and realizing how important that is to have success on the floor. So it was something I really enjoyed.
Are you planning on putting the summer league team through that same workout?
Yeah, we don't. I wish I could, but we don't have the time for that.
Just have them walk around the desert in July in Las Vegas. What is that? So you're getting to know your guys. I know some of the younger guys are here working out. Like,
Yes.
So how are you like getting into like, all right, this is what I want out of these guys? Are you trying to get specific roles out of them? What is that whole process like for those who don't know, I guess, about putting the summer league team together and like what you're trying to get out of these guys, maybe for whatever they could maybe do either in Sioux Falls next year or for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, not really about role clarity yet. More so about these guys just being in the gym and grinding and getting better with us, right? Because it is summertime, it is their off season. So yeah, we focus on, the individual games, but at the same time, getting better at the team concepts that we want them to improve on as well. So those are just some of the things that we work on right now in the off season. It's not so much of a team concept thing for summer league. It's more so the overall game, and the big picture, and how we want them to evolve as players for the Miami Heat.
Former Miami Heat guard and now Heat assistant coach Wayne Ellington. Before I let you go here, is this a big challenge for you? Are you almost embracing this challenge? And I know ultimately head coach is something that you aspire to be. You're on the record with that. But how important is this next step for you over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, well, I look at it as the next step in my journey. It's definitely going to be challenging, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking to embrace the challenge. I'm looking to step forward right into it. I'm not shying away from anything. I'm super excited about it. We have a great group of guys. I have a great group of coaches that are going to be on my staff. So we're just looking forward to it, man. We're going to get these guys out there. We're going to compete hard. We're going to play Miami Heat basketball.
Is great shooting, is that innate? Like, is that something that you do some guys have it? Or because we've got some guys can very much improve themselves, but like the great shooters, do you think that's something like you have almost like maybe like power punching or something like that, like as a gift?
It's definitely a gift. You can work to become a better shooter, but there's just something about that touch and that detail that comes along with being a great shooter, or a really, really, really good shooter at a high level, right? That most guys just have this something about them. You can't really pinpoint what it is, but it's almost like this hand-eye thing, like that, like a sniper has, right?
You still got it too, right?
Oh, it doesn't go away.
Miami Heat assistant coach Wayne Ellington. Good luck this summer, man. We'll all be rooting for you. We'll be overreacting because that's what we do to summer league too, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, but good luck. And,
thanks for
thank
having
you
me,
very
guys.
much.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Go, Wayne Ellington. And we'll stick it right here. We'll
Yeah,
stick right
we'll
here.
keep it around.
I jumped the gun a little bit earlier.
Thanks
Thanks
so
again. On the after the Keyshawn Johnson
And there's
interview.
two of you on the stream right now.
I know, yeah. One too many.
That guy was a flamethrower. He was so good.
What did E. Reed used to call him? The
man with the golden arm,
right?
Man with the golden arm.
Yeah.
It's on his basketball reference and everything. Brittany, do you recall Wayne Ellington? Was he one of your favorites? Did you love seeing him shoot?
Of course. I'm not that old. I mean, I'm not that young. I remember him.
No, he was a
Very
sniper. But that was the thing. Like, it was kind of one of those things where he was on the cusp of like, okay, it's cool for a shooter to go out there and start. Like, it was just kind of getting into that crescendo of like, all right, you got a shooter, you want them shooting 7, 8 a game. And so he went from like 3 attempts a game as like going from team to team to like, no, he's shooting over 6 attempts a game. And that was a big thing as you were seeing that
for the Heat, especially,
Yeah.
right, Tobin? Like, even during the Big Three era, because you think about the NBA now and then what it was in 2011, 2012, 2013. Like, I remember that first Heat Big Three game that they lost in Boston, the very first one. The final score was like 88-83. I mean, the NBA transformed so much, especially with the Golden State Warriors and how they were playing. But the Heat were never the team that was going to go out there and take 53s in a game. Like, it wasn't going to happen. So Wayne Ellington kind of taking that role upon himself was a big deal for Coach Spo in this roster.
But this is why I like him on the summer league team. People may think this is stupid, but that's why I asked the question. All right. I think one of the big needs we obviously know with Giannis, right, is that they're going to need shooters. Everybody saw that. He got to get there looking for shooters. Trust me when I tell you, whatever the second round is tomorrow, something – obviously you go best available, but something tells me the Heat are going to be looking for a couple of snipers. And if there's one guy that I want to have his hands all over these guys early on in their Heat careers, it's Wayne Ellington.
Yep.
That's the guy, because he's going to know exactly what it's like to have that gravity as a shooter, to have that ability to notice that right away. So if you want to talk about one of the things that I think is a genius touch, I know that he's been known for a while. Who knows when they knew they were going to get Giannis. But I think if there was one guy that's perfect to have out there, because you're going to be looking for that particular skill set, I like that Wayne Ellington's going to be out in Las Vegas, or California and Las Vegas during this whole time.
By the way, we're talking about, shooting and Wayne Ellington. Tobin, who's to say, we aren't going to see that next development of the outside shot from Pelle Larsson with another year here being able to develop that part of his game. And dare I say, Bam Adebayo. I mean, he took more threes last year than he took in his first 8 seasons combined. And another season now knowing that he's going to be able to spread the floor and maybe get some of those more opportunities out on the perimeter this year with Giannis kind of basically running the point as a point forward.
Right.
I just like that idea where we want to put certain guys in a box based on what they did a season ago or what they've done over their career. But Bam really is a perfect example of every year adding another element to his offensive game.
Yeah, but I think even he would tell you he probably took too many. Bam took 5.5 threes a game last year,
right.
And I think that's a little too much. I think if they could taper that down by probably maybe 4's the sweet spot for him, and then you need to get Bam back to putting his head down, getting in the free throw line. He's going to be going up against a lot of centers this year, obviously, because this really was purely probably put him at the 5. And taking advantage of those matchups with his speed. We saw what a weapon that was in the 83-point game. We saw a little bit of both of that. But I'm with you. I think that he's shown a capability of it. Now with Bam, it's almost about harnessing it and finding the right spots. He even admitted after last year, yeah, that's kind of what the offense was. I was just letting them rip. But Pelle's an interesting one, because Pelle's also one of those guys I think about in the thought of hey, do you have it? Or because Pelle, you just see the way he looks. Not to be weird, but you see Pelle Larsson in the very handsome.
What do you mean?
Very handsome individual. But I'm telling being in the locker room, Pelle Larsson looks like an action figure. He's built like a brick bleep house. But what I mean by that is he works his tail off very clearly. Can he find this thing with the shooting? Because he'll hit some clutch ones every now and then. But if he could be a guy who's going to knock you down a bunch of threes a game, dude, this guy's going to make a fortune in this league.
He's already got the part of the game that around here is a huge deal, which is you just play your ass off, physical, get to the rim, much better in the open court this season, Tobin. But, yeah, you're right. Once you can add that outside part of your game and become a reliable three-point threat. By the way, the team needs it now moving forward as well, right? The big question mark, even though there are some people who are kind of questioning whether or not Bam and Giannis are going to be a formidable duo and how the spacing is going to work and all that stuff, I do think, there's a very fair concern and question about what the roster construction is going to look like and how they're going to be able to build that out. And we'll see, right? We talked about that a little bit earlier. But, yeah, you're going to need some shooters and you're going to need guys that are going to be able to put the ball in the basket, because the reality is, while your front court looks as good as anybody's front court in the NBA, you got to put the ball in the basket from beyond the arc. And right now the Heat are lacking a little bit of that.
But I also think that there's more to come with Pelle's game, too. UD, we talked about this. I don't know when that Udonis Haslam interview is coming out, guys. It was a really good one. But whenever it is.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
I've sent an email every day.
I believe you.
I still haven't gotten. I don't know how you got pictures from that interview.
I can send you that.
Okay.
I can send that. Somebody told me about, so I was able to get those. But I will send you those. UD was there's a lot more to scratch on the surface there with Pelle. He thinks that there's a lot to his game. So I'm kind of excited about that as well, because I do think that there's a reason that the Heat were hey, we got to hold on to some guys here. For me, Pelle just seems I don't know if he's ever going to be a star in this league. I don't know if he's going to be an all-star, but I just feel like that guy's a winning basketball player, and you're going to need that because this team's going to have their stars. It's going to be Bam. It's going to be Giannis. and then it's going to be probably whatever guard that they add to that fray. But guys like Davion, guys like Pelle Larsson, they got to fit in their roles just nice. As we see in playoff runs, guys have to do that. You know, you looked at, unfortunately, what the Knicks just did with Josh Hart, even though he's dirty and twists ankles. You look back at, you know, the Celtics with Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. We look back at the Heat finals runs of Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. Those guys are important, and I think that Pelle Larsson definitely can bring that to the table for a contending team.
Shifting gears over to the NBA draft because
that's gone. That's on today.
Right. There's actually a draft, and Washington is on the clock. I can't believe they're giving Trae Young $200 and whatever million
it's
dollars.
crazy.
It's just genuinely insane.
What? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think Trae Young, like, this happened? I saw with the Dave Hyde article where he said that Sergei Bobrovsky had asked for a 3-year deal with $14 a year,
right?
And like very clearly the Panthers were like, nah, dude. So like, did Trae Young go up to the Wizards and was like, hey guys, 212 max deal, 212 million, and they're just like, I guess we got to give it to him. Like there was no negotiation of 3 years. There was no negotiation of like 3 and 40. Like they're just like, you know what, Trae, you get it, dude. We just like your vibe.
What's funny is like, isn't that why? I mean, they've tried to get off the Bradley Beal situation for years, like the worst contract in NBA history. They're like, you know what we need to do once we finally get off the books with Bradley Beal and the worst contract ever? Let's give Trae Young, the guy who we traded nothing for, and the team got infinitely better once he left in Atlanta. By the way, I'm not trying to turn this into a bash Trae Young thing because I do think Tobin, he can end up being a really good player on a good team as long as he's not the 1 or the number 2. That's just the way I feel. But I'll tell you what a sigh of damn relief knowing that we're getting Giannis Antetokounmpo and we didn't have to talk ourselves into maybe Trae Young being the guy that would be your consolation prize throughout this entire process. Tobin, what feels better today? What do you think feels better today for Heat Nation? Because as AJ Debance is going to go number 1 overall, I'm pretty sure, right? I haven't seen anything
would think so.
That would suggest he isn't. When the Heat missed out on the lottery, there was a lot of just like, of course, we never move up in the lottery. What feels better today? Giannis Antetokounmpo signed, sealed, and delivered to Miami, or if the Heat would have won the NBA lottery and would be picking AJ Debanta, which is about to happen right now. The pick is in. Adam Silver announcing the Washington Wizards select. Yeah, AJ Debanta from BYU. What feels better today?
I'm going to go with Giannis. I think that as much as AJ Debanta looks like a dynamic player, I think that, you know, it's not of that like Wembanyama ilk. Like, I don't know how good he's going to be. There has been some debate. I think this has been a fascinating draft in that there's been a lot of talk about 1, 2, 3, and 4. Darren Peterson has had a lot of controversy around him, even though he may be looked upon as the more talented player. Cam Boozer, guy who played down here in South Florida, Columbus. You know, his dad, Carlos Boozer, his brother, they play at Duke. Is he the more safe bet? So I think this was actually as great as this top 4 has been billed. I think it would have been kind of a stressful draft because this almost felt like there wasn't that obvious number 1 guy that you do tank for. So it would have been cool.
Yes, La Voz, Jose Pañeda walking
a legend,
around.
An absolute legend.
The best.
So I'm going to say Giannis. You know, I'm obviously I'm very biased because that's my guy. I always wanted him. And I'm very happy that this has gone down. But this is a cool moment. I will say for the Wizards, the only thing that could ruin my mood is paying Trae Young $212 million because I just don't understand why you had to do that. Like, what was the guarantee? Like, does Trae Young's agent, is he like in cahoots with the front office? That just seems like who was offering Trae Young $100 million?
It's a weird situation that they're in because, I mean, my guess is they're going to end up trading Anthony Davis and he'll be on his 18th NBA team in the last like 18 months. But it's a weird situation you're in because you're ushering in this new era. They've got actually a bunch of young players. I know they've been an absolute disaster, Tobin, so I'm not trying to make it seem like the Washington Wizards are automatically going to be this better team, but some of their younger players have shown some promise, genuinely, like they have. Now you bring in Debanta, who I think, and most people think, is gonna be a force immediately as a rookie. I don't think he's gonna end up being like Cooper Flagg, but I think he'll be a quality rookie this year and will be able to contribute on a team. But it's an alternate timeline that the Washington Wizards are trying to usher in right now, which is like a youth movement with a number 1 overall pick that you're trying to give the keys to the franchise to. Meanwhile, you've got these older players kind of entering like the back ends of their career, but you're paying them. At least in Trae Young, you are. So it's a weird thing happening there in Washington.
You know, if there's one member of the Heat organization I expected shenanigans from today, it would have been Bernie. I would have thought he would have come in with like just in a toga.
Grease flag.
Yeah. Some what are those figs that go in your hair?
Yeah.
You know, maybe just the flag of Greece, but he's still in his Heat uniform. He's zoned in. He's gonna wait until the official date.
Have you seen? I was kind of expecting like already a Heat Giannis jersey, Antetokounmpo on the back.
Listen, I'm not gonna name names, but I've seen.
What if he showed up?
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Right?
I just saw some video of him shooting on Instagram. I'm like, this is great.
Do we know that? Are we on Giannis watch? Like, do we know where he's at? Do we know if he's in the States? Does anybody have any idea?
I think he was in China for a little bit. I think he was abroad, but I don't know where he is now. Probably house shopping. Pinecrest guy. Gonna live on the water.
Pinecrest guy? No,
I don't know. Star Island.
Star Island. I think
you think Tyler gives him a deal? You think Tyler gives him a deal on the mansion?
Man, poor Tyler. Didn't Tyler kind of
Whiteside's house is on the market? I saw that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he buys Whiteside's house. He gets got a nice aquarium.
That's right.
Got the koi fish.
Didn't Whiteside do the actual show?
He did.
He did the show.
I love
right?
that show.
Yeah,
Tanked. It was unfortunate what happened to those guys. They went out in disgrace. But
did they really?
They did.
They got canceled.
They got canceled.
I missed that.
Yes,
I missed that
canceled.
entire.
Yeah,
I missed all that.
The husband and wife. You know what? That's not. That's another story for it. You guys can Google it.
Yeah.
The point is, I love that show, and there was a year, and then the year Myers Leonard was here, I think he rented Whiteside's house. But that house is nice. I mean, listen, he got $100 million, dude. And I don't think that he got it before. I think the Miami market was super robust. So that thing is nice. If I was Giannis, if I was looking for a place, Daniel says Giannis seems like a fish guy. Agreed.
Yeah,
he can go see the OGs, go for guidance. That's what a day we're having today. We're talking to Wayne Ellington. Did you look at Snapchat, Brittany, when Whiteside would go to the OGs for guidance?
Oh, of course. I remember there was a story that me and my cousins loved of him. He was like, yo, it's a manatee with his manatees in his backyard.
There was a moment where there was a moment where DJ Khaled riding around on Snapchat in just like Biscayne Bay on one of his jet skis was an everyday thing. And Hassan Whiteside Snapchatting random people outside of his Hummer on just different parts of Miami was an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Everyday thing.
Yeah, he would show up because like Khaled would always be in the backyard, and then there would be Whiteside all the time just hanging out. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know when he'll be down here. I'd imagine that you'd want to get a gander at it, but also maybe I got some time. Let's get everybody settled.
Yeah.
Maybe you go out. Vegas is a very kind of chic place where the NBA kind of goes and meets too. Like guys go and they go watch the team. They meet out. Bam's going to be out there because he's there with Asia. So you can see something like that too.
That's funny. You'll have maybe Giannis sitting next to Spo, maybe sitting next to Riley, maybe sitting next to Morning. They like to go out there. Oh, I know you'll be retweeting those pictures immediately. The second pick is in, by the way. The Utah Jazz are going to select. Let's see what Adam Silver has to say. Darren Peterson from KU.
Give us back our pick, Adam. You know what you did. Who said that? Darren Peterson. Yeah. Well, that's good for him. There was a lot of scuttle beforehand that he hadn't worked out for the Utah Jazz. And that he didn't give him. He only worked out for the.
We'll see. I mean, just because they took him doesn't mean anything. That could get interesting.
They did that last year though. Like Danny Ainge doesn't seem to care because they had that whole thing with Ace Bailey. Remember that whole thing with the agent who was like staring weirdly into the phone. So Darren Peterson is going number 2. And then who's next? Memphis? Memphis is 3?
Memphis is 3.
And
it's going to go Boozer. And then it's Chicago, right? Chicago's going to go forward.
Yeah. So we got the order now. It'll be Boozer. Then it'll be Caleb Wilson at 4. And then the draft really starts at 5.
Thanks for tuning in to our draft special. You're listening to two guys who are woefully unprepared for a draft special, but that is because Giannis Antetokounmpo was traded here yesterday, and that's pretty much all we care about.
Look at this. Number one Panther and number one Heat fan, Alexander Barkov, according to NHL Follow Tracker. Sasha Barkov, captain, two-time champion for your Florida Panthers, has officially followed Giannis on Instagram.
Oh, has he?
Yes.
All
that was a big day for me, too. I did that, too, yesterday. I did that. I was like, this is a moment. I wasn't going to do it until he was on the team.
I haven't done it yet. I probably should do it, right?
Oh, he's active. I'm not following Tanisas yet, though. He's got to be on the team first.
All right, let's take a break. We'll keep you updated on the draft. Tobin and I are going to get into a little bit more of what this roster can look like once this is all finalized, which I believe is going to be either July 6th or July 7th. Ira had brought up a good point to me today, too, Tobin, that there could be several teams kind of worked into this entire trade once it's done and finalized. Could end up being a 4, 5, maybe even 6-team deal. And could that mean a former Miami Heat player coming back to Miami? I'll see if, as you would say, if it tickles your fancy. It's Tobin, it's Solana, Brittany back in the studio. Our engineer Oscar's out here as well. We're live from inside the Kaseya Center. It's the Miami Heat's draft party. AJ Debanta goes number 1. Darren Peterson goes number 2. Memphis is on the clock. You're listening to WQAM. All right, welcome back to the Kaseya Center. Solana, Tobin will take you up for another 35 or so minutes. Cameron Bruiser was just selected by the Memphis Grizzlies, so DeBanta's off the board, Peterson's off the board, and Cam Boozer off the board. No surprises thus far, but we're here to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's be honest, the biggest trade that the Miami Heat has pulled off in a long, long time. And to help us talk about it is Brady Hawk from 5 Reasons Sports. Listen to him on 5 on the Floor. Read his work at SI.com as well. We are broadcasting live, Brady, from the Heat draft party. They'll be selecting 13, but I don't think any of us are going to be too familiar with who they select at 13 because it doesn't matter anymore. He'll be in Milwaukee, and Giannis Antetokounmpo will be in Miami. What were your initial thoughts last night when the news finally broke?
My first reaction was I'm mad that I did this many months of draft prep because that was pointless of what we're watching tonight. No, I mean, I think surprise, honestly, is a good word to say because as much as you're expecting it, it's down to 2 teams and all this stuff. You don't believe it until it's done. Like, you don't believe it until it gets to that point and you really see it. So seeing the deal, seeing everything, I mean, I just wanted something new. You need something new in the building. You need something fresh. I think on Giannis' side, he needs something fresh. All the talk about him playing games and being injured and all this stuff. It's a situation where he was kind of on the back end of a weird situation, a bad team. He needs something new. I think he's going to be refreshed in this roster. And I'm ready for a team that has a legit identity. I mean, this team is going to defend. They're going to get into you. Bam Adebayo and Giannis Antetokounmpo are going to be really fun on that end. This team has needed positional size. They have positional size now. If Wiggins does return, the fact that he's playing the 3 and not the 5 this season, I think will help. And they have a legit number 1, the guy's a pace decider. He can increase the pace because nobody can stop him in transition. He's the best transition player in the league. But they have a guy that they haven't had since Jimmy Butler that can just slow the game down and get to the free throw line whenever he wants. So I'm excited. I'm ready to see what he's got.
Was there, once the deal went down, everybody's obviously like, whoa, that's a lot. But was there, was it over your expectations, under your expectations? Are you happy they were able to hold on to Pella? Like, what do you think? What was your reaction about the idea that they gutted the roster for a guy like this?
I hated hearing the gutted the roster thing. Like, as much as you want to talk about these guys, I mean, you have to give up a lot to get a good player, and that's what they got. I mean, I'll be honest. I think seeing Kalel go is rough just because of what we talked about and what you see in the potential. Seeing Jaime go after having the revival season is rough. Kasper's being the piece that you thought maybe you could keep, but I think it was unrealistic that when it came down to the final hour, Boston makes a push. You have to throw in one more piece that ends up being Kasper's. So it was kind of expected. I was of the push that you just go give everything and go get this guy. So the fact they're able to keep back a guy, as you mentioned, in Pelle Larsson, I think he's going to be great in this system. Pelle Larsson is built to play on a good team. He's on a good team now. He's able to go play off the bench, play in this defensive system, go do all of these things offensively. Of the attention that's going to be on Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to benefit Pelle Larsson more than anybody on this team because the guy is going to sprint to the basket, back cut, do all that extra stuff, get easy ones down low, all because of that gravity. So it's tough to see these guys go, but we knew this was coming. This is what happens when you get a star player, and now there's the fun part. You got your number 1 option, and now that he could do what they do and go fill out the rest of the roster.
Brady Hawk, again, on SI.com, you can read an article you posted today, and you went back, you watched Giannis film, and you wrote about what it's going to look like with Giannis playing under Coach Spo and all the different ways that they're going to be able to kind of maximize him here in Miami based on what you saw. And I don't know if you watched a lot of last year's tape or years prior, and I know last year was limited amount of tape, but based on what you saw, when healthy, is Giannis Antetokounmpo, who a lot of people are concerned about the injuries, the age, is he still a top 5 player in the NBA?
No doubt in my mind. I was never on the wave of thinking this guy. I mean, we were talking about the guy like he's 40. Like, the guy's 31 years old. Yes, he missed some games last year. So did some of the Heat's role players. I mean, this doesn't change anything. I look at him as a guy that's still as dominant as ever. He played 36 games last year. He looked pretty dang good in a lot of those games. The stuff of being a player, because people think when a player has to age well, he has to be a shooter. We talked about late in Dwayne's career and different things like that. How about just being a low post physical, just specimen that you can't stop because you are just that physical and good around the basket? That's what he is. So I look at it in the system this year in Miami of looking what he's going to be. the Heat scrapped this last year where they got rid of the pick and roll. They started this new thing of isolation, no screens. It's time to scrap that again because it's time to get back to the drawing board. Eric Spoelstra has a couple months now. He's going to have some fun. This is I think more fun for Spo than anybody else.
He's got to be so happy.
He's got to be he's got to be stoked. I mean, he gets a guy that now he could work everything around. He always wanted that number one guy, and then the role players rise. That's why he was so good in the playoffs when Jimmy got to that level, because he schemed up these guys and putting Max and Gabe and all these guys in the correct spot. Now he could do that, and just seeing what they're going to do with the pick and rolls, I think, is going to be interesting. Giannis is a dominant roller. He's a dominant ball handler in that space. You're going to see Bam as a spot-up shooter. You're going to see him as a roller with Giannis. You're still going to see Giannis off the catch. You're still going to see him in transition. I just think all of that stuff combined, Giannis, they're going to let Giannis be Giannis, right? Like, I think that's the main thing. They're not going to overdo this, not going to reinvent the wheel. Giannis is going to go do what he does offensively, and that's the best way of going about it when you have a top 5 player.
You mentioned the Bam thing. I'm kind of curious. We talked about this a little bit last hour about him, and we saw him really up the volume shooting. He was 5.5 attempts last year. Not the greatest efficiency. He kind of acknowledged that. What do you see? Because people are worried about the fit of him and Giannis. Obviously, we got to see it, but like just your kind of bird's eye view of it. How do you think that these guys coexist together? How do you think they fit?
Bam's never going to have as many open shots than he's going to have this season. Like, he is going to have so many open threes. I think the question here is you don't want him to fall in love with it where he's shooting 8-9 threes a game and he's not doing what he's good at, which is the other stuff, which is the mid-range, which is the stuff going to the basket. As much as they're going to play together, there's going to be a luxury of always having one of them on the floor. They're not going to stagger them like they would Kalel, but there's going to be a case of where you can really run lineups together where you're able to play one or the other. The shooting's going to be big. I mean, if he could jump that 32% up to like 37 and on similar, probably honestly not similar, probably more attempts, that is a difference maker. I think the stuff of him attacking the basket and is opened up completely. Like, we used to talk about Bam when he gets that dotted line and he would see 3 or 4 defenders around him. I don't know how that's possible when you have Giannis lurking. Like, if he's on the ball or off the ball, you can't really do that. So I think just watching some of that and then the defensive part of it, I keep bringing up the comparison of watching what they did in Team USA, where it was Anthony Davis and Bam kind of running those second units and how fun that was. Like, do we remember how great
Senegal was cooked?
I know you love that. It was great. I mean, they dominated in those lineups, and that's what you have at the NBA level. You have Giannis and Bam that are going to be lurking defensively. Okay, Giannis may not be at the level that he was at Defensive Player of the Year season, but he's still a dang good help defender that can muck up shots and do the things, honestly, that Spo wanted Kalel to do. All the things that he wanted him to do to make it work in those lineups is what Giannis already does. So I'm looking forward to the defensive thing, obviously, more than anything else.
Do you have an idea of what you want this roster, how you want it to look and be built out? Look, all the reports coming out regarding Andrew Wiggins and whether he's going to be back next year, Norman Powell, whether he's going to be back next year. Do you have a preference? And why is it LeBron James coming back to Miami?
Oh, no.
No, I'm just joking. But do you have a preference in the sense of like who comes back, who doesn't, and how they build out this roster?
So I'll say this. When we were talking about the Giannis thing for this long, I don't know why. I always had this thought in my mind that Norman Powell would be on the team. And kind of getting to this point now where you're seeing the way things are breaking down, I think we're all kind of realizing that's probably not going to be the case.
Well, the Wizards ruined it. They paid Trae Young too much money.
That's fair. Fair.
He's like, I gotta get it. They gotta get something. Maybe not that, but something.
He's got it. I mean, looking around the league, especially, he played at that level to get to an all-star level and did what he did, not only because the Heat needed it and they didn't have scoring, but it was contract year. I mean, he was trying to get a bag. So the idea is not crazy that he shouldn't do that. I mean, I think he should go get his money at this point in his career when he put it all out there and got his first time all-star. But I'll say this. I mean, I think they have their defenders. I think their defenders are pretty much locked in. I mean, even these role players that we're not talking about as much, Myron Gardner is going to play minutes, and he's going to be a defensive dog for them. I think he's going to fit them well. Drew Smith going to play minutes off the bench. I think it's going to be a defensive dog. You obviously have Davion. I think Wiggins thing ultimately gets figured out. We'll see. I know they could flip him into something else. Maybe you get 2 rotation players back, but that's hearsay. They have enough defense. It's all shooting. It really is that simple. I know a lot of people have been saying that about just getting shooting. That's why I love the Bobby Portis thing.
Yeah.
I people were kind of joking around because I felt like I sounded more excited about the Bobby Portis part than the Giannis part. But no, I mean, they get a guy. I mean, we've talked so long about them getting a backup big and finding somebody that was a quality offensive player. I mean, we went from the Thomas Bryants and the Dwayne Dedmons and the Cody Zellers and these guys that are just veteran minimum guys that come in here and just try to get the job done for 8 minutes. Bobby Portis is an offensive scorer. Like, he's a microwave scorer that can really shoot the ball. The guy shot 46% from 3 last season. Like, this guy is a legitimate offensive weapon. It's a ridiculous number. I mean, because I think what's funny with us is we watched him against the Heat and we think that guy's a Heat killer. Like that he's just doing that against us. No, he was doing that all season.
I also was surprised. I kind of felt like Bobby Portis was like 34 because he's been around forever. I was like, oh, he's only 31.
Who asked me that today? They're like, how old is Bobby Portis? I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't think of it off the top of my head.
He still feels so much older.
So, I mean, yeah, it's a team that's definitely cooked. Like, the expectations are going to be to win. Is there a guy shooting wise? Everybody's going to say shooters. Yeah. Is there a guy you've heard that like intrigues you the most? I mean, we've heard you guys reporting Middleton. We've heard Klay Thompson. Anthony Simons got mentioned today by Bobby Marks. Is there somebody that would be ideal?
I'll say a name first off, just off the bat, Duncan Robinson. Does anybody like that name? Because I think of a guy that would fit a Giannis Bam team perfectly, and it's that guy. Yeah. I mean, that guy would fit pretty well. I know that the ideas of maybe a sign and trade could maybe get it done. So that's just a name to throw out there. Another name that is maybe not the pure specialist, but if you could find a way to get Kobe White, I just think that would be an insane add to this team. I know he's on that list of names.
It would make sense, right?
He's the legit player that they always go after, the player that kills them, that does this stuff, and it's in a perfect time of need where they just need off the dribble scoring as well, not just off the catch stuff. But I know another name is Luke Kennard. I can totally see Luke Kennard ending up here. I just think it makes too much sense. He is a perfect, ideal Giannis Antetokounmpo teammate, guy that's just literally just waiting for his shot, not doing too much, nothing off the dribble, just pure catch and fire, and he does it at an incredibly high rate. So I think those guys are interesting. Yeah, Simons is another one. Those are the players that you're going to have to take a risk on. Like, those are the guys that you don't really know. There could be a talent spike because the guys have gotten drafted pretty high and are talented.
Right.
But you don't know. Maybe it doesn't work out as you think. It's those we've seen what happened with Boston. They kind of gave up on him pretty early. So
somebody says Tim Hardaway Jr. in the chat. Like, that feels like that's only been circling for like 5 years.
Yeah, but it needs to happen.
So did Giannis, though.
Right?
Yeah, right.
No, that's another. I think when we mentioned shooter, it's just any player that's ever killed Miami. That's like the guy you mentioned, because all of these guys.
We had Wayne Allen here earlier. That's like exactly that's that mold.
I like Tim Hardaway Jr. I think that would make a lot of sense. The microwave shooters. It's just you can plug those guys right in. Miami always figures out a way to work them.
Well, especially when you're adding a Giannis Antetokounmpo, like he elevates those types of players.
Sure.
Brady Hawk, again, listen to him 5 on the Floor podcast, 5 Reasons Sports, read his work, SI.com. Before I go, Brady, Tobin, I always give Brady a hard time because I feel like he just likes basketball too much. He doesn't do anything other than watch basketball and just watch basketball and do the best threads on basketball. What are you doing this summer? Give me like one thing you're doing this summer.
He's going to say Love Island.
I've been tapping in.
Yeah.
I've been tapping in. Yes, and I'm not going to lie to you. Tobin's the reason. He got me going.
He used to love Love Island.
He used to put me on. He used to tell me about it, and he used to really get into it. I've been getting into it because everybody and their mother is watching it, so I feel like I have to. And look, Solana knows, or both of you know, I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV. So when you're asking what I'm doing, man, I'm watching hoops. I'm not tapping into going to AMC or seeing anything. But I have been tapping into that a little bit. So
it's just a good put in the background. Like, you don't have to lock in. And
I can't believe you were explaining this today. It's every day, except for Wednesday.
It's 5 days a week. It's 5 days a week.
Can you believe that?
It's like this job.
Yeah,
it's great. I love it.
Every day.
I have to do it just because the memes on Twitter. Like, I got to know what's going on because if I see it too often, I don't want to be out of the loop.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to know what's going on, and that's honestly, it's every other tweet is either Love Island or Giannis. So I got to be locked in.
I'm super excited because I haven't watched the UK season yet. I'm loading that up. I'm gonna binge that after the American season's over.
Well, now you don't have to watch Kaspar's overseas. You don't have these
that I'm actually bummed about.
Yeah, so now you have some free time.
Let me ask you this. Well, if Jovic is here, does he have anything on this team?
He's the X factor 100%. And maybe I'm throwing that word around too heavily, but like legitimately, he changes this roster of what the rotation could be. They have 2 role players they're relying on. Pelle Larsson, who we know what he's going to be, and it's Nikola Jovic, and it's going to be whatever second-round pick they pick tomorrow. But Nikola Jovic, I mean, if you have a front court of Giannis, Bam, Portis, and Nikola Jovic works out, that is a great 4 group to start out with. The key comes down to what it's always going to come down to with him is the catch-and-shoot shooting. If he could shoot at a decent level, I I haven't loved the way I'll be honest. I haven't loved the way he's been utilized over time. I think he's been thrown around the map so often. Last season, I hated that new offense for him specifically. I just think the transition stuff's cool. I mean, every time he has a wide open dunk, I feel like he's gonna be out 6 weeks as he goes up and something negative happens. But other than that, I didn't love that for him. So in a new offense around Giannis, he's gonna have some wide open threes, and this offseason for him is gonna be, let me drill that down, work on my catch, shoot three, and if I could do that, I'm going to be playable because I'm a 6'10", 6'11" player that could do a lot of things, and we already have Giannis. We have these different players. You're right, and we're both Nico guys. So I think we're hoping that happens, but it's possible if the shooting works.
The confidence thing, though, worried me a little bit because you could tell he just really got down on himself.
He
a
needs
lot
like
last year.
Giannis smacking his teammates in Greece like Joker does that to him. He needs that.
Well, you know what the problem is with confidence is when you're wide open, you're almost less confident. Like you start overthinking. He's going to be open a whole lot this season, so he needs to figure that part of it out.
What's going on over here? This dude is wearing a New York Knicks jersey, taking a free throw on our court.
That's gross, dude.
Oh, get this guy out of here.
We lost it.
What are we doing, dude?
Terrible.
Can you believe that? They let a guy in a Knicks jersey?
And they told me I couldn't wear my Giannis jersey.
You see that, Jax? He's wearing a Knicks jersey? That dude just took a free throw wearing a Knicks jersey.
Two of them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, man. All righty.
Brady Hawk.
Brady, great job.
Thank you, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Watch a movie. Any movie and get back to me. I want a movie review.
Does the 2013 Miami Heat Finals count? I remember that movie.
Count.
That was a good one.
I have that on DVD.
I do too. That's why.
That does count. Brady Hawk, again, follow his work. 5 on the Floor podcast, especially now, man. You guys are going to be busy. I know. Are you going out to Vegas?
No, I mean,
no Vegas. Okay.
Giannis isn't playing in Vegas, so I'm staying home.
That's right. Yeah, no reason to spend your money. And read his work, SI.com. Tobin and Solana, we'll take you up one more segment. We'll try to get into some more nonsense around here. It's the Heat draft party. We might not even be on the air when the Heat technically select 13th, but we'll talk more Giannis on the other side. We're live from the Kaseya Center. You're listening to WQAM. All right, it's our final segment. We really don't even have that much time left. It looks like, Tobin, we're not going to end up catching the Heat's 13th overall selection. This really does go down as the weirdest draft special in the history of draft specials, not just
and the best
for the Miami Heat, but ours. But yeah, it's the best. It's weird in such a good way. If you're just joining us, we're out here live at the Heat draft party. The draft is on here inside the Kaseya Center. You've got Dale, you've got Bernie, Jax is here. We spoke with Wayne Ellington and Keyshawn Johnson earlier. We'll post those interviews on our social medias coming up and on WQAM as well. But
I like KJ a lot, man.
He's
I'm a big
good,
fan
man.
of that guy.
Yeah. He's great to just chat with. Imposing dude as well.
He's a moose.
Yeah. I hope he has a better year, man. I really do. It just didn't work out for him last year.
This is the type of team, though, you can see it. Because, like, look, with all that youth gone, this is where opportunities kind of go for a guy like that. He's another guy, like, we all talk about the shooting, but, like, has to be, probably more of a lockdown defender. Be just a real terror on that side. He's got all the measurables. It's just a matter of, can he put it all together? It definitely looked like a guy last year at times, like playing a little tight. In those times, there were a couple games where he got some extended minutes. I thought he looked a little bit more comfortable. That coming in and spotting and being a small ball 5 is not easy. But even in summer league, like, looked a little clunky. I think, maybe a team like this and having that under his belt and even having the display of the slam dunk championship, maybe that relaxes you a little bit going into this year.
How does yesterday?
Plus, Giannis
Tobin,
loves him.
He does, absolutely does. How does yesterday, Tobin, compare to some of the other big non-basketball days in Heat history? So obviously, actual like things that happen on the court doesn't count, but obviously the decision will always kind of be alone at the top, in my opinion.
Yes,
in my opinion, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But even Wade and Bosch announcing that they were coming back to the Miami Heat.
I was on my honeymoon.
That was on your honeymoon?
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow. They were on PTI.
Yeah. We had it in my room. I was like, oh.
The funniest thing ever. I remember watching that. What was that, 2010? Like, just gotten home from high school, had ESPN on, and I was like, oh.
I remember coming back from my honeymoon being excited because I was like, oh, we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to get LeBron. And I was at the studio that night. I hosted through that night all the way to Sedano.
So,
but yeah, that was not. I mean, even yesterday was awesome. It can't compare to that.
The decision, Wade and Bosch, in a level of its own.
And I'll tell you why.
Goran was great as well.
The reason being is just we know Giannis wanted to be here. Like
right.
LeBron, like you definitely were hanging on it with LeBron. Like, oh man,
and that didn't happen. Like our minds are so different now because of the way transactions are so much more commonplace in the NBA nowadays. But a player leaving the organization in his prime in free agency just didn't happen the way that it happens now.
Right.
So, you kind of have to put the context into it. We were talking about that earlier. But like Goran getting traded here at the deadline, it ends up being kind of just like deflating because the Bosch blood clots happened right after. But that like 24 hours when Goran Dragic, that was one of the most hype that I can remember, Heat fans being after a trade. Dwayne Wade coming back is probably up there. Shaq coming with the Super Soakers and the big monster truck has to be up there. I know that was a long time ago. Jimmy Butler getting traded here. Like there are several moments, right, where the acquisition happens. But how does last night and in the last 24 hours compare to those?
I would say the difference feels like almost relief. I think that there's a part of it that's excitement and there's part of it that's relief. And I talked about this a lot in the summer about this. And it's like, I'm excited to have Giannis, but I'm more excited that the organization was able to pull off getting Giannis because it just felt like they had left, they just weren't able to get it over the finish line so many times, whether it be Dame, KD, Spida, the names. So the fact that they got it done, I just felt like it was big for the organization, the front office, which, is aging. Like Pat Riley is getting up there. You wanted him to have that feeling of he could still do it. people questioning, like, does it need a shakeup? Does the organization need a shakeup? And part of the thing that you do love about this organization is how much everybody has been here forever. And that is the family and the beauty of it. And so they all wear that stuff when it doesn't go on. And so to see everybody today who have been around for 30 plus years with the pep in their step, feeling like, hey, we're back, because they know what it's like to when their organization's back, and they know what it's like when their organization is not there. And so I felt a lot of relief yesterday, Solana, for that. I was definitely fired up. Don't get me wrong. But I was just like, yeah, all right, cool. We can now we can get back to business.
I felt good for Pat too, man, because the commentary today, think about what it would have been, right?
Yeah.
Even I was thinking about it in this building, what it would have been like for a draft special,
right?
If it ended up being Boston, if it ended up that the Miami Heat didn't get Giannis, like the commentary today specifically about Pat, which probably isn't fair considering we know like there's a lot of people at the decision table. It's not just Pat Riley.
How many guys have traded for that many MVPs?
And you think about the fact that Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning, LeBron James, they draft Dwayne Wade. Like, we can go on and on. Everybody knows what it is. And to add another list to it, but to avoid what would have just been people calling for him to step down and people calling for him to retire, people calling for Mickey Harrison to tell him to force his way out. He doesn't deserve to go out that way. So genuinely, call me a Pat Riley shill if you want. But, like, I mean, this organization is where it's at because of him. He deserves to go out either on top or at the very least in a position where it can be on top and not the way it's been the last couple of years.
No doubt. Go out on your own terms. He's definitely deserved that. And, it's funny because I remember, the first time he brought up the whale metaphor, and I've been there for enough press conference where he was already like, I'm sick of bringing up the whale. But no, he got him. And I think that this is about as big as it gets. This is a guy that, quite frankly, the Heat have been eyeballing for 6+ years. And, there were times where maybe they thought, hey, it wasn't going to happen just because, Milwaukee was doing some pretty reckless stuff to keep it going. Credit to them. They also won a championship along the way while the Heat were fighting and being in finals. But this feels like a match that's been there for a while. And so it's going to be very exciting to see what this era brings.
Uptown Dale has a D, like a pin with his initials on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess
I like that he has the bedazzled jacket with the bedazzled draft hat.
Yeah.
That draft hat is not good.
That is.
I'm glad I'm glad that whoever gets the Heat draft hat is, and I know that they're all doing it, but like, what were they?
Is that the?
Yeah, that's the draft hat.
Bedazzled?
It's bedazzled. Like that does, like you'll notice. Like,
you're joking, right?
No, I'm not. Bedazzled. That's what they went with.
That's what the NBA went with?
Reminds me of the year where Bam got drafted and like the logo was like a reflector, and then I remember the brim being velvet. And I was like, just do a normal hat, man. Normal hat, logo.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
Kingston Fleming's
He's
just
bedazzled.
went 8th to the Atlanta Hawks, and it's bedazzled.
That was your guy.
That was my guy. Yeah, I was a big Kingston Fleming's guy.
I was a Cam Carr guy, just for everybody who wanted to know.
Cam Carr, big Cam Carr guy, big Kingston Fleming guy. And then
would you have liked Hannes Steinbach? No,
that one didn't make my pre-draft special.
He looked like, I was like, oh, this guy's like responsible Jovic. I don't think I like that.
And everybody thought LeBaron Philon was.
Oh, he was
seemed to be like the guy that everybody had coming.
He was so skinny though, dude. Like, that was crazy. Yeah. Like, I know the small guard's going to be in, but he was. I guess he was kind of like, he's even skinnier than John Morant, and I don't think he's as explosive, but these are the 4 guys that I looked up.
Before we can we check out of here, yay or nay on John Morant quickly
for this team?
Yes.
Wow. I was very into John Morant without getting Giannis. I don't know if he fits with this team.
Okay.
So I'm going to go nay.
And I'm leaning yay. And we just saw the war room of the Atlanta Hawks. What is the Heat war room like? I know you joked about it earlier, but genuinely, what is the Heat war room like right now? They're just hanging out? They're going to get a text.
I don't
from-
know. I would think that 9 o'clock's coming up. I think they're going to fire up Love Island, the big screen. That's what I would think.
But how does this work? Like they're going to get a text from the Bucks?
No. The way that it
Management?
works is this is Kaseya Moore. So like what they would do is they got to have the challenge between the villa. No, I don't know, dude. I think the way it works is John Horst is like, that's the guy I want, and they're like, all right. And so maybe it's on a 3-way call, so he doesn't think there's any shenanigans. But yeah, I think that's the way that it goes.
Well, you shouldn't risk any shenanigans right now. Absolutely, don't risk any shenanigans because that would be an absolute nightmare. Brandon Tobin, I appreciate you for coming out here once again. This has been fun.
Yes.
Not your typical draft party show. I would imagine no draft party in the history of a radio show covering a draft party ended their draft show prior to the team's pick being in. But again, no big deal. Don't get too familiar with who the Heat select 13. Right now, the Dallas Mavericks are on the clock. The pick is in. They're selecting 9.
Sham says, have a feeling new Dallas Mavericks coach Dusty May, former FAU coach, will be bringing a Wolverine up next at number 9 to his new job. So they have a few guys. I wonder if he'll take Mara, who's it? Morez Johnson, and then Yaxel Lenenberg. So they got 3 guys. I'm actually intrigued. Can we see who they pick?
Yeah, let's do
Before
it.
we go.
Yeah, the pick is in.
Westwood One Radio can wait.
There's Dusty May.
Crazy that is the head coach, man. What a ride he's had.
3 years ago, he's coaching at a gym in
Bananas.
FAU. Yeah,
Bananas, dude.
Bunking with Eric Reed up in Boca.
That's insane, dude. He's the coach of the Dallas Mavericks. Gets to coach Cooper Flagg. And hey, listen, maybe he doesn't want to coach Kyrie Irving,
Is Jason Kidd going to get another job coaching? It's going to happen, right?
Yeah, I
It
think
seems
so.
inevitable.
He seems to get like a lot of respect from players. I feel like he's one of those guys. This is taking a lot longer than I thought.
Let's see. There's the War Room. By the way, shout out to the Orlando Magic for sending just a cavalcade of picks to the Memphis Grizzlies for Desmond Bane, and he still got bounced in the first round.
Right. That's my first goal, is to not go 0-5 against the Magic next year. That's Giannis' first mission.
That's a solid goal.
I would like that to not happen, and but I do like the fact that we used less picks to get Giannis than they did to get Desmond Bane. That's good.
Send a bit more of a hole in terms of
Don't
players.
ruin my moment.
All right.
Don't ruin my moment. I said what I said.
Should we just call this?
Yeah, forget it.
All right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Brittany's ready to go watch Love Island. So am I,
I think
Brittany.
so are you.
I want to go home.
All right. Thank you very much to Brittany, who's back in the studio. Thanks for everybody who tuned in, by the way. Again, bit of a different draft party, but all right, we might as well wait. Here's Adam
there we go.
Silver. All right. Adam Silver, the pick is in. The Dallas Mavericks. Morez Johnson Jr. All right. There you go. Dusty May gets his guy, one of his guys. The Milwaukee Bucks are on the clock for their first pick. The Heat will select 13th. That pick will be going to Milwaukee.
I hope they enjoy that pick.
Yes.
I hope that pick works out for them. I root for all the Heat guys who are leaving. I was a big Khalil Ware fan, Yakachonis fan, Jaime, Tyler. I wish them all success and good luck to them.
Whether Tyler ends up in Milwaukee or Detroit,
Right.
genuinely rooting for Tyler. I'm a big fan of his. Tobin, thank you, man. Oscar, thank you so much. Our engineer, always love working with you. Brittany, back in the studio, always love working with you as well. Appreciate you. Heat season's around the corner, everybody. We'll be back doing preseason games before you know it in early October. Tobin will be on tomorrow, 10 to 2. Right here with Tobin and Leroy on WQM, and I'll be live 2 to 6 tomorrow. Hockman, Crowder, and Solana. To everybody who tuned in on the YouTube and Twitch chat, we appreciate you. Everybody who tuned in starting at 7 o'clock on FM 104.3 WQM and the Odyssey app, we appreciate you as well. This has been the Miami Heat Draft Special 2026 edition, live from the Kaseya Center. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow.